There comes a point in many people's lives when they stop living for themselves and start living for someone else. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. At first, it feels innocent. You meet someone. They make you smile in a way you haven't smiled in years. Your heart beats faster when their name appears on your phone. You wait for their texts. You replay their words in your mind. You imagine a future with them. And before you even realize what's happening, your happiness begins depending on their attention. Your mood begins depending on their replies. Your peace begins depending on how they treat you. That's when the chase begins. And that's when you slowly begin losing yourself. You start checking your phone every few minutes. You wonder why they haven't replied. You overthink every message. Did I say something wrong? Are they losing interest? Should I text again? Am I being too much? Your mind becomes a battlefield. And while they're simply living their life, you're trapped inside your own head. You stop focusing on your goals. Your sleep suffers. Your work suffers. Your confidence suffers. But you tell yourself it's love. You tell yourself they're worth it. You tell yourself that if you just try a little harder, love them a little more, give a little more, sacrifice a little more, maybe they'll finally choose you the way you've chosen them. But here's the painful truth. Love should never require you to abandon yourself. Real love doesn't ask you to beg for attention. Real love doesn't leave you anxious every day. Real love doesn't make you feel like you're constantly competing for someone's care. If someone truly values you, you won't have to chase them. You won't have to convince them to stay. You won't have to earn basic respect. But when you're emotionally attached, you ignore every red flag. You justify their distance. They're just busy. They're going through something. They're not good at expressing emotions. They do care. They just show it differently. You become their defender, even when they're hurting you, even when they're neglecting you, even when they're making you feel invisible. And the saddest part, you start changing yourself to fit into their world. You become less honest, less confident, less expressive. You hide your needs. You silence your feelings. You pretend to be okay with things that break your heart, just to avoid pushing them away. Read that again. You begin betraying yourself to keep someone who isn't even fully choosing you. That's not love. That's fear. Fear of being abandoned. Fear of being alone. Fear that this person is the best you'll ever have. So you chase harder. You send the extra text. You apologize when you did nothing wrong. You forgive things that should have ended everything. You accept crumbs because you're starving for affection. And slowly, without realizing it, you forget who you were before them. You forget your hobbies. You forget your dreams. You forget your routines. You forget your peace. You stop asking, what do I need? And start asking, what do they need from me? That's how people lose themselves. Not in one dramatic moment, but in tiny daily sacrifices, tiny compromises, tiny betrayals of self-respect. Until one day, you look in the mirror and barely recognize the person staring back. You're exhausted, emotionally drained, constantly anxious, always waiting, always hoping, always hurting. And then maybe one day they leave, or maybe they never fully stayed to begin with. And suddenly, you feel empty, not just because you lost them, but because somewhere along the way, you lost yourself too. And now, you have to rebuild. But here's the beautiful part. This is where your real journey begins. Because heartbreak can destroy you, or it can wake you up. It can teach you the lesson you've been avoiding your whole life. That your worth cannot depend on someone else's ability to see it. That love should add to your life, not consume it. That attention is not affection. That chasing is not connection. That desperation is not devotion. And most importantly, that you deserve to choose yourself. You deserve relationships where effort is mutual, where communication is clear, where affection is natural, where peace replaces anxiety. You deserve to be loved without losing your identity. But first, you must stop chasing. Stop checking your phone every 5 minutes. Stop rereading old messages. Stop making excuses for inconsistent behavior. Stop shrinking yourself for someone else's comfort. Stop treating breadcrumbs like a feast. Take your energy back. Take your time back. Take your attention back. Pour it into yourself, into your health, your career, your passions, your friendships, your dreams. Reconnect with the person you abandoned, you, because the moment you stop chasing others, you start attracting better. When you know your worth, you stop begging people to recognize it. When you respect yourself, you stop tolerating disrespect. When you love yourself, you stop accepting half love. And yes, it will hurt. Detaching hurts. Letting go hurts. Walking away hurts. But staying where you are not valued hurts even more. Choose the pain that heals, not the pain that keeps you stuck. There's someone listening to this right now, waiting for a text, waiting for closure, waiting for someone to finally choose them. But maybe the person who needs to choose you is you. Maybe this is your sign to stop chasing, to stop proving, to stop pleading, and start becoming. Become stronger, become calmer, become more disciplined, become emotionally independent. Become the person who says, if you want to stay, stay. If you want to go, go. But I will not lose myself trying to keep you. That is power. That is self-respect. That is freedom. One day, you'll meet someone who doesn't make you question your worth. Someone who chooses you clearly. Someone whose love feels safe. Someone who doesn't need to be chased. But until then, choose yourself every single day. Choose your peace over their confusion. Choose your standards over your loneliness. Choose your dignity over temporary attention. Choose growth over attachment. And remember this, the moment you stop running after people, you begin walking towards yourself, and that changes everything.